Hey everyone, welcome to the results video of the Mini Family Boomerang contest. In this contest all the players had to create a Vekoma Family Boomerang. Now if you don't know what the Family Boomerang is, it's a coaster type where the train first starts in the station, then it gets pulled backwards on a reverse lift hill, then at the top it's released, then it goes through the track forwards until finally it reaches a spike, and at the spike it will reverse direction and then it will go through the track backwards. Now we got 20 entries for this contest. In this video I will show all of them. I'll start with the one that got the lowest score and I'll finish by announcing who's the winner of this round. Alright, in 20th place we have this entry from Katsibut. Katsibut made this dueling boomerang. Well, there's a normal boomerang and there's a family boomerang which are dueling with each other. This family boomerang has several helixes, and then here is the spike, and then it goes in reverse and they duel back to the station. Now I think the reason this one got last place is I think it would have helped if the family boomerang maybe had a little bit more interesting layout. Yeah, it probably had to be short to actually be able to do a bit of dueling with this boomerang, which is also quite a short layout. So that's probably why it doesn't have any more elements than this. Also, Katsibut probably overdid it a little bit with these trees. If you're gonna place this many trees, maybe it will look nice to vary them a bit more. But in general, it's nice if you can see a bit more of what's around the trees. So it's best to not overdo it. But yeah, I think it was an interesting entry with this dueling boomerang. Alright, the next entry is from TollJK26. And TollJK26 made this family boomerang coaster. Now, quite a few times I saw these entries where the looping coaster track is used. That's the track I typically use for this kind of coaster as well. But for the lift hill I always like to use junior coaster track because it has nice drive tires. So it's actually quite easy to do that if you have the ride editor plugin. So I'm just going to use a random color now. So for example, if I just recolor these track pieces, and then we go to the ride editor plugin, and we select this ride, which is called Everglade, and then we select alternative color scheme 1, the one that I just colored, and here we select junior coaster track, and we select ride type, and we do apply. So now you can see this track actually has these drive tires, so that will generally make it look more like a real junior or family boomerang. So that's what I typically do. Now I'm not going to repeat this for all the contest entries, but were quite a few. There were some people who actually did this, so that was always nice to see. Now for this entry in particular, you can see this layout has lots of small drops and some S-bends as well, some straight track. When you make a layout for a coaster, I always recommend to make as few of these transitions like S-bends or little drops and hills in between as possible. It's much nicer when the layout flows nicely. So if you have to go up and then curve upwards, try to make a curved hill upwards. That will make your layout look much nicer. That's just a tip in general. Now for this entry, I think this creator tried to cram a bit too much of everything in this park. Also this wooden coaster just crammed in the corner over here. Of course it's possible, it's you can do something like this, but yeah, it just looks a little bit too much crammed into here. So in mini contest these plots are small. Try to focus on the main coaster, and the rest should just be nice supporting rides. I think that will help you get a nicer score. Now, speaking of nice scores, this entry was made by LOL69. He created this dueling pair of family boomerangs. Now, I don't think they're timed particularly well. You can see them arrive at quite different times here in the station. Up until the spikes, I do think the synchronization is still quite okay. It is quite difficult with a shuttle ride to do synchronization in a really good way. No, I do think the layout is quite nice. I think it's based on Tweestrijd, which is a dueling family boomerang that's in a park in the Netherlands, which is quite a nice ride. Now, I do think LOL69 could have decorated this part of the ride a bit more. Okay, here's the entry from ICU. ICU created this family boomerang around this little lake here. Now, I think the park looks pretty old school. Yeah, lots of little gardens everywhere, trees, other small rides, some nice buildings as well. Also some custom supports using the scenery. Not really on board with these footers here, but the supports, I think they're nice. I think it would have looked just as nice if these footers weren't there. Or maybe you could hide it with something. Like just put a little bush in front. Something like that. But yeah, there were some weird design choices here. You can see these handymen just running around at high speed. Not really sure if that... I think that's a little bit distracting. Also, there's this boat traveling around. I think when you have a boat like this traveling around, it's nice to actually have some guests be able to use it. I think that would also be cool. Or maybe just have it be a gentle ride. But yeah, at least there is a little bit of movement on the water here, apart from all these ducks. Okay, here's the entry from NFE. NFE made this family boomerang which travels through this town. Lots of different architecture in this town. You can see some Egyptian over here. This looks like a Roman themed. Also, I love how this coaster travels around the Colosseum here. Now, that train looks to be rainbow colored. Pretty nice color scheme. Here's some buildings in a different style. Yeah, I read something in the story about the lots of different building styles being used. And that's pretty apparent. You can also see it on the side here. There's lots of different slices here. Yeah, not really sure if this is the nicest color scheme for a coaster. Kind of looks olive green or poopy brown. Maybe a nice bright color would have looked nicer. Or maybe a beige color would have fit well with these buildings. Yeah, not my favorite color, but some people might like it more than I do. But yeah, I really especially like the buildings in this entry and the interaction that the coaster has with them. Okay, next entry is from Plux, and she made this Australian themed entry. Here you can see the coaster rolling backwards onto the lift hill. I do think the lift hill looks a bit wonky with this curve in it. There's a gradient change. I do think the layout is quite nice for a family boomerang. It's nice and twisty, it flows nicely. I think the Plux also did the landscaping here in a really nice way. I really like this landscape that she created here. So with these hills, these canyon pieces, these different rocks, I think that's done quite nicely. Also quite an interesting station here. I do think the roofs and these walls do look a little bit messy, especially these wall pieces here. Not sure if you can actually curve these or slope these walls. You probably cannot. But yeah, I think that would have been nice. Just going to try it out. Oh, you can actually slope them. Well, yeah, then this is probably a nicer way to do these the edge of the roofs here. But yeah, overall, I think the landscaping here in this entry is really nice. Alright, then here we have a recreation from Fitwell, and Fitwell recreated the ride Good Gravy. Now, I think Good Gravy has a really wacky theme, and yeah, I think it's always a really fun ride to watch. Yeah, the spike's almost vertical, I quite like that. Yeah, these coasters typically have pretty simple supports. So when you recreate one, you don't really have to do much in this the slow part, let's call it that. And on the spike, there's usually some triangular support, like over here. So it's actually quite a simple coaster type to recreate. Now I did see in Fitwell's video that he made for this entry that he did run out of space a bit. So in the beginning he had a less steep lift hill, but he had to make a steeper one to actually make everything fit in. Yeah, I think he did a really good job fitting everything in. Now, why it's so low in the list? Probably because of this part. Maybe people would have expected a bit more decoration over here on this side. Even if the real ride, maybe it doesn't have it. Okay, next entry is from BE Player. He created this coaster here in the jungle. Quite a nice lift hill here, which extends into these ruins over here. I can see a lot of jungle landscape here. Now, I think the landscape itself here is not too interesting. I think this jungle landscape would actually look nicer with maybe these normal ridges, because they're a bit more same in color. Once again, just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. Maybe some green even. Maybe not. But yeah, I definitely think the landscape here maybe could have used another eye catcher, something in the middle here, just to break up all these trees. I do love this building that's on top of here. That's really cool. Now, and over here we then have the boomerang. I quite like the layout of it. Did some simple curved hills, but the layout, it flows nicely here. Also has some fun supports. And I really like the entrance to this queue here. What's going on here with this text? That's weird. Must be a bug. But yeah, I really like the entrance here to this queue. It passes right under this sign here. That's really nicely done. Yeah, that's definitely a nice way to do this queue line. But yeah, really lovely entry. Alright, then here's the entry from Bam the Bomb. Bam the Bomb made this dueling junior boomerang, family boomerang. It travels through this volcanic landscape. I think that's really cool. I also love that they dip into the valley here, right above the lava here and above all these volcanoes. They have some nice interaction with each other. They pass by each other several times. I think this would be really fun to ride. Although maybe a bit hot. But yeah, I like the way Bam the Bomb did these lift hills here at the back. Yeah, they have some nice interaction here with each other as well. And it's fun to watch them travel up the lift hill here. Although I think it would have been even nicer if it had those drive tires I talked about earlier. But yeah, really nicely decorated ride and a really nice layout. Okay, here's the entry from Lurker. Lurker made this layout that passes over this bridge here. So here you can see the train travel forward onto the spike. I quite like this diagonal spike. Yeah, I think it makes the coaster look pretty nice here. Now, yeah, the diagonal track parts actually just make the coaster look a little bit bigger than it actually is, so that's nice. The coaster also passes right under the queue here, so that's also some nice interaction. That's pretty cool. Some really nice gardens over here, some really cool landscaping. Typically what you would expect from an entry from a Lurker, so that's really nice. These buildings are in one of his typical styles, so pretty recognizable as a Lurker entry. Yeah, what I maybe would have hoped for in this entry is maybe another element, like an helix over here maybe, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. But overall, I think it's a really cool entry. Okay, here's the entry from TechnoKiwi91. He created this coaster with a really nice color scheme. So over here you can see the station. Now, that's kind of a wonky lift hill, but I think it looks nice with this catwalk. Also has a little extension here in the end. Then it travels through this layout, a simple curved hill up. Then it passes over this helix. I really like how this ride just goes around here under this helix. That looks really cool, also with this little tower here. And in the end, we also see some drive tires here. Now, I think it would have been nice if the drive tires were on the lift hill, but you probably know that by now. But yeah, I think this looks really cool with the double helix here. And the rest of the park, I think it also looks cool. Some nice gardens along the paths here. Yeah, I think it's a really fun entry. Okay, next up is the entry from Levels. Levels made this really nice looking track layout here inside this, in between all these trees. I think this garden scape looks really cool. I also really like the color scheme of the coaster. That's pretty interesting to look at. No, I'm not really sure I'm on board with the choice for the trains. Levels used these Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 looping roller coaster trains. Not the kind of train I would have chosen, but yeah, some people may like this choice. Again, you can see a pretty hefty lift hill here with a big support structure. Yeah, it kind of doesn't really look like a family boomerang to me. It looks like something heavier. Maybe this would be a medium boomerang, something like that. Maybe a little bit more for thrill seekers. Now we can also see a nice little swinging ship over here, a diagonal one. Also with a nice structure around it. But yeah, overall I think this entry does look really nice. Especially here. I just love the way the track looks over here. Okay, there was actually a tie for 8th place, so the previous entry got 8th place, and this entry got the same score. This is the entry from Solex. He created this beautiful looking castle. Yeah, and Solex actually used the B&M coaster track. Now, I think this track could actually work for a Vekoma track. The B&M track does look a little bit more yeah, bulky than the Vekoma track usually does. I think I prefer using the looping coaster track for it, but I think this track could also work. Now, I really like the layout for this coaster. Yeah, it's just a super nice twisty layout, very compact, and I really like the way these spikes end up on the same tower. That's just a super nice layout. Probably one of the nicest of this round. And I just love how it's integrated into this castle here. And these paths here also look super nice. And probably my favorite trick is actually how Solex made these chains for the bridge. There are actually lots of signs with an invisible background and just some text characters done in a clever way. Yeah, I'm really a big fan of this trick. Okay, next entry is from Kazrak. Kazrak made this beautiful station for the coaster. It's actually a big church, it looks like. Yeah, this church is just, it just looks brilliant. Really nice looking roof structure, but also the windows here look great. This coaster is also really nice. I love how it travels through the landscape here. The landscaping is done really nice. It travels over this river here. Yeah, and it just looks wonderful. The landscaping is super nice. The foliage is also done really nicely. And there's also some beautiful... well, there's also a beautiful supporting ride with these horses here. Here we can see what looks like a little tavern. Yeah, it's just a wonderful entry. And this church over here on top of the hill looks beautiful. Okay, the next entry is from Jassanden. Now, Jassanden in an earlier round also made a park called World of Body Fluids. And this is a sequel to World of Body Fluids, I think. So this is, I believe, the river of vomit that you see here. And yeah, you can see all these different staff scenes. They are just so funny to watch. For example, you have the little gorilla here, which looks like it's just puking here. You can see the sign here, Pukerang. There's all this vomit everywhere. There's also guests drowning in the vomit. Now, yeah, these staff scenes were actually done with a new Peep editor plugin, with which you can set guests or entertainers into a state like this. Yeah, I think it's really funny, and Jassanden really made great usage of this functionality. And of course the litter editor was also used to put puke in all these impossible places on top of these buildings. Yeah, I definitely recommend you to check out this entry for yourself. All these entries from my contest can be downloaded from my Discord server. And I'm also uploading them all to my website. I'll leave a link to both of these in the video description. Alright, then next up is the entry from Kanaifa. He decided to join a contest once again. And he created this beautiful little castle here. And with this family boomerang just intertwined in the castle. Now, I love how Kanaifa used the water here. The coaster also travels just nicely over the water here. under this extension to the tower, which is also used as the queue for the ride. I think that's also really nicely done. But these paths also look great with this. Yeah, they've been made to look like they curve around. I think that that looks amazing. So some beautiful foliage gardens next to the paths, some nice rock work. Yeah, these buildings also look super cool. Yeah, and all in all, Kanaiva made a great entry again. Okay, next entry is from Risiko. Now he made this beautiful entry here with this kind of looks like a Viking theme. And yeah, he actually only made one spike for the coaster. And that's because he made this coaster to look like it has a switch track. So a new coaster was built somewhere by Gerstlauer and actually has a switch track. And yeah, it does quite some complicated stuff. Yeah, basically I think that was the inspiration for Risiko to make this ride. So it actually travels up this spike twice. So first it gets lifted up the spike, of course, and it gets released forwards. Then it travels through the track here, then goes up the spike forwards, then it reverses back again. And then finally it goes through the track and reverse again. And then here it slows down, goes up the spike a little bit in reverse and then back to the station. Quite an interesting coaster design from Risiko. Now, I think the buildings here look really cool. I do think it would have been nice if there were some more buildings maybe here on the side or something else interesting to look at. This just looks like a bit of a filler. But yeah, overall I think it's a really nice looking entry. Okay, then in third place we have the entry from Manticore. Manticore created this really nice looking yeah, family boomerang called Barbican. I asked him what it meant, and I believe he just looked up words from medieval time. Now I believe he used a building at Efteling as inspiration for his entry. I believe Ravelijn was the inspiration for some of the buildings here. But yeah, I think the station looks really cool. I really like how he did this clock. This is actually just one of these signs which you could put text on, and he put an L here behind this window. Such a simple trick, but very effective. Now, I think the station looks beautiful. I love the building style here. Also a nice little fence around the coaster here. Some really nice decoration around it. Yeah, I especially really like this part. Also with a gate for guests to go to the other side here. Yeah, and this coaster is just really nicely framed here in this landscape and in between these paths. Wonderful work from Manticore 007. Okay, there's just 2 entries remaining. I will first show both of them, and after that I will reveal which one is the winner of this round. Okay, here's the entry from Enox. Now, Enox made this entry to look like a model railway, or it's a model table, something like that. I think it looks really cool. I love the way he did this table. So you can see some shelves here with some other pieces that he could still fit on the board if he had more space. You can see a soldering iron over here. That's very recognizable, I think, if you have one of those. You can see a voltage or a power supply over here. Some more trains here. I think this is really cool. You can also see some gas here that he can place on the board. Yeah, just really nicely done, especially the surroundings. Of course, the coaster also really cool. Yeah, here you can see the station for the ride. It's a beautiful building. I also love how the queue wraps around it. And the guests are just surrounded by the coaster here. Yeah, trains travel up the lift hill here. Support structure quite nicely done. Although it does seem to clip right through the track here. So that's probably something that Enox missed. But yeah, it's fun to see these coasters duel with each other, and then they both travel up their respective spikes. They're timed pretty nicely, synchronized pretty well. And here they both go through the layout in reverse again. But yeah, beautiful entry from Enox. Yeah, I think he did a wonderful job here. But maybe next time probably should look out with the supports. Because yeah, it does seem to clip a little bit. Alright, and finally here's the entry from Beautiful Monday. Beautiful Monday actually did a little bit of shoestringing, looks like, because we have a diagonal station over here. Now, I think it's really creative how Beautiful Monday used these scenery pieces to actually make the roof for this station. Now, I think it's a beautiful layout for the coaster. It's nice and twisty. Excuse me, a little bit of a hiccup. It's a nice and twisty layout. It flows really nicely. Also love this spike at the end. And I think these supports for the track look lovely. So it looks like the normal supports, but at the bottom, Beautiful Monday put some of these pieces here. Not actually sure what kind of pieces these are. Probably some hacky stuff. Oh wait, these are actually just pieces of single rail coaster track. I see it. But I think it works really well. I think they work really nicely as footers. So yeah, they're done very consistently throughout the layout. I think it looks beautiful. Also some of these other pieces just to strengthen the supports a bit. Yeah, it's just a wonderful looking coaster. The rest of the entry also looks wonderful. These buildings are great. You can see some coaster vehicle pieces used for the awnings here. Also for the balconies. I believe Beautiful Monday said he looked at a screenshot that was made by Leon earlier, and he used that as inspiration for some of the buildings. So that's also why this building is called Leon's Catch. But yeah, also some of the other buildings here use some great tricks. Like this building actually uses some park entrance pieces for the towers. It's always nice to see people use those. Probably would have been nice if this launched freefall also had something here on top of the tower, because that's something you usually see. But yeah, I think the rest of the entry just looks wonderful. You can also see all these arcade games here. Yeah, it's just a great entry from Beautiful Monday. Alright, now it's time to reveal which one of these last two entries is the winner of this round. Is it this beach boardwalk from Beautiful Monday? Or is it the model table from Inox? And the winner of the Mini Family Boomerang Contest is... Beautiful Monday. Now, these last two entries were both wonderful, but the one from Beautiful Monday scored quite a bit higher. Yeah, they were both great entries, but of course only one of them can be the winner of the round. And Beautiful Monday had some really neat tricks. You can also see this coaster spin back and forth a few times before it actually breaks. Another nice little detail. But yeah, it's just a wonderful entry from Beautiful Monday. It's a great entry to see. There were quite a few really nice entries in this round. And yeah, I just hope everybody who joined had a great time creating a family boomerang. Now, I already said it, you can download these contest entries from my Discord server. And you can find a link in the video description. And they will soon also be on my website. I will also leave a link to that. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. A new contest will start soon. If you want to join it, just become a member on my Discord server and you'll be kept up to date if any contest starts. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, please smash that like button. It will really help out my channel. And please leave a comment telling me which of these family boomerangs was your favorite. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.